What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. And we are here with Trent, who is back in our studio because we love him. We love him so much. He's back. We love him. We love him so much.
Thank you for that. Is a lovely intro. And this is a lovely studio. This is my first time recording in here. It's great.
It's homey.
Yeah, it is. You guys did a great job with this, and I really appreciate you guys honoring me on the wall. Mm-hmm. That really makes me feel special. But I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. Talk Bachelor.
For fully part of the brand, Trent.
Yeah. Yep. No, that makes me, warms my heart.
Yep.
I love being a part of it.
I feel so close to Trent right now. It's a force field.
Rhea's been knocking out songs about 3 people.
Oh, ready? 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Come on, knock on my door.
Come on, knock on my door.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you.
And a thing, and a thing, and a thing. Three's company too.
Welcome back, Trent. That's the Full House version.
That's great. I wish I knew the song. I would have joined in.
Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's company too. We just took that Broadway.
Yeah.
That felt weird. Holy fuck. Jazz hands.
I felt like Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Hers and
his.
Really coming from the depths.
Yeah. But we're back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Bachelorette recap day. We have a great episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about the premiere of the show, and we also have Katie, the Bachelorette herself, on an interview coming up after our recap. But let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's back. It's officially back.
Big time. And I think that it was a cloud approaching because it was a daunting, once Monday night hits, we have 9 straight months of Bachelor Paradise, Bachelorette. Everything's just coming. There's no breaks. So it was holy shit, it's all coming. But I will say, after night 1, I was like, you know what? The teaser, it pulled me back in. I feel good. I'm hoping for a nice season. I'm hoping for some good contestants. And let's just get this show on the road.
I had my first gallbladder attack in months yesterday.
Oh my God.
No.
Before the show.
No way.
I did.
That's unfortunate.
And I think it's because the show was coming back. I got ashita. I got a little...
Is it brought on by stress?
It could be.
Yeah.
Yes. It could be. And I legitimately felt stressed out that the show was coming back. But after last night's episode, I'm excited for the season.
Yeah, and I understand what you guys are saying, but also, once I'm into it, once it starts, I'm all the way in.
Right, because once you're back in, you don't know what it's like on the outside.
Right, the lead
you're
up is...
we're back. We're in, we're good.
The daunting cloud is a good way to put it before the show starts, but then it starts and it's like, oh, we're doing limos.
And then it's a beautiful rainbow after the storm.
It really is. And now we do have 9 months straight of Bachelor programming that I'm excited about. I've said it before, but I love the show unconditionally, so...
Yep.
I'm ready for all of it, and I do think we are going to get a much more regular season of The Bachelorette, and I think ABC is making a point for it to be that way. It's going to hit all the regular beats that some people are like, oh, this is corny, and I can't believe people still watch this show. But then in a weird way, that's why we continue to watch the show, or it's a big reason for it because it's like comfort food. It's like a nice blanket where it's like, oh, this is a familiar feeling, and I'm ready for it.
And it's the casting too. We're just like, please don't cast anyone who's going to get exposed for bad things on TikTok. Let's just,
that'd be great.
Because that just is such an added element of making the show worse.
But it's almost inevitable because people will do anything to try to take somebody down.
Oh no,
at this point in life.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
But there's a level of quote unquote being exposed that's okay, that's not a big deal. Some TikTok was going viral Monday night of a girl saying ooh, when I saw the preview for The Bachelorette and saw a guy who said ooh, I'm not ready for a relationship or something like that. Something that's not exactly what she wrote, but basically saying she saw a guy who's going to be on this season who told her, I'm not ready for a relationship. That I don't give a shit about. I don't care at all.
I have a take about that. When people say that, and we get messages, we get DMs, I dated this guy, he told me he's not ready for a relationship.
Yeah.
Same thing as that TikTok.
He just
didn't like you. He didn't like you. I hate to break it to you, but he didn't like you, and he didn't know how to tell you that, so he told you that he wasn't ready for a relationship or didn't want to be in a relationship. Because I'll tell you what, a guy who likes a girl and wants to be in a relationship with her is going to do that.
Correct.
They're just going to do it.
Correct.
If they like you enough to be in a relationship, they're going to be in the relationship.
Correct.
So I'm sorry. He just
was not that into you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I
so
agree
you
with you
can't
guys.
cancel somebody for not liking somebody else.
No.
You just can't be doing
I
that.
be doing
It's where
that.
we draw
I
the
agree.
fucking line.
Yes.
Yeah,
Big
I agree.
time.
I don't give a shit about that stuff. It's the stuff from the past where it does fall on the show going through the backgrounds, and it's the racist tweets, it's the problematic tweets that end up
hate
all that bad stuff that ends up blowing up the show mid-season, and it takes away from
the actual show.
The show that is supposed to be, you know, obviously on the you look at it and it's like, oh, this person wants to fall in love.
It's supposed to be a goddamn fairy tale.
Right. And it's not going to be that. It's morphed with now it's the social media era, so it's a little bit different. They lean into the corniness of it. But I wanted to stay on those tracks as opposed to, you know, 4 weeks in, a bombshell drops and it completely changes the course of the entire show. And I do think, or at least I'm hopeful, that they went through all these, you know, the past of all these people, and it's all good, and we can just have a regular season of Katie's season. And I think she's going to be a great Bachelorette. I just hope that it stays on that course.
Yeah, she's just got to set the tone, which I think she is going to do very early on. It was a very by the book night one first episode. We did it was like the whole formula: meet Katie, meet the guys in their video packages, they show up at the limo, night one rose ceremony, good night everyone, here's the teaser. It was like exactly how we always have our night ones. And Katie is in Albuquerque, straight out of the golf course from High School Musical 2. That resort must have been used in filming at some point. The pink, I'm like, that's right out of High School Musical 2.
It made me insanely jealous. I wanted to be there. I'd love to be on the set of High School Musical 2.
I know.
It's my favorite of the 3 movies.
Me too. Me too, for sure.
So they're in Albuquerque. They're not leaving. And Katie kind of seems like she's getting ready for this whole night on her own. She's doing this solo. What's going to happen? But as night one approaches and she's standing outside, Caitlin and Tayshia sneak up behind her and they all freak out and they're so excited. So we can just start off with that. Like, Caitlin and Tayshia, I think, are going to be great. I felt like they did a great job night one, where they were there and could be guiding lights, but also were doing like the host things. You know, like Caitlin nailed her, gentlemen, this is the last rose of the evening. Like, you know, they did a good job. And then there was also like them joking, you know, eating popcorn, watching the limo entrances, where there is some jokes in there and it shows their personalities.
I was surprised that Katie was surprised that they were there. I didn't know that was going to be a wrinkle. I thought,
but she said she didn't know that they were going to be there.
I didn't realize that. So I thought that was cool. I thought she knew, you know, Chris Harrison wasn't going to be a part of this season. They were bringing in Caitlin and Tayshia. I thought for sure that she knew, but she didn't. And that was cool. And yeah, it's going to be a different dynamic. Chris Harrison in the past, he gives sage advice.
Right.
The Bachelor or the Bachelorette goes to him. He sort of sits there, listens, says 3 or 4 words, and that's it. Caitlin and Tayshia is going to be very different. They're going to be friends with Katie. They're going to lead her along the way. They're going to do all the hosting duties that they need to do. But I think they're going to be far more involved than Chris Harrison ever was. Like, I think
absolutely.
Even last night, it felt like they were way more involved with the popcorn that you mentioned. I think it's going to work out great. And I know the news came out today that Chris Harrison is he's not going to return to the franchise at all. And I think that's going to be okay. I think last night sort of proved that the host is a big deal, and Chris Harrison is a big part of the Bachelor universe and has been for a long time. But I think last night showed with Caitlin and Tayshia, this train can kind of keep going. And you put in Caitlin and Tayshia, who are obviously great. David Spade's going to do Bachelor in Paradise. You keep rolling along like that, and I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Tayshia and Caitlin were great. It was very much like bestie vibes. They're like, ooh, which guy is coming out? And it's, you know, if like Chris Harrison was doing that, it would just be weird. Whereas they're doing, it'd be like, oh, Chris Harrison's like flirting with the guys. But no, I thought they were great. And yeah, I think like you said, it's just going to keep going along. Apparently Chris Harrison got like mid-range 8 figures, which I think would be around $50 million, which is really just enough to
shut
keep
you up
anybody
forever.
Quiet. Like, I think that Chris Harrison is he's gonna be so much happier. Like, as much as this is not about that, Chris Harrison was probably like, oh fuck, I actually don't have to work anymore and I just got a $50 million payday on top of all the other shit I got in my bank account. I'm just gonna go on vacation all the time and never speak to anybody again.
You know how much that guy's gonna golf?
A lot. He already golfs a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
He already golfs a ton.
Up that even more.
Yeah.
So
I think everybody's going to be fine.
Yeah,
there's a lot of comments of like people being very sad for Chris Harrison, and it's like, I'm sure it is very bittersweet for him. However, he will be okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be happy.
He will be.
Like I think
okay.
he's going to be good.
It was his own doing, but like that's
For
not
sure.
the greatest way to go out. You know, like I
Oh
understand.
no, I'm sure he.
And do we really think it was his own doing?
I'm sure he wanted
that interview that he gave.
No, like
yes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
His actions brought him to this
Let's
point.
clarify this.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
that you were saying
He
him
left on his own.
leaving was his own
No.
doing,
No.
not what he put himself into. He
Yes.
put himself into that
Yes.
situation.
Yes.
Let's make that clear.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But
100%.
him leaving, like he got told,
Yeah.
we're gonna pay you out.
Yeah. for
That's
sure.
got to be what
For
happened.
One, I absolutely think so. The way that the Deadline article reads, it kind of seems like Chris Harrison's lawyer came in and was like, "You better throw him the fucking bag, or else he's gonna tell everyone he's gonna air out all the dirty laundry."
I mean, he's got, again, this is a speculative number, 50 million, but if it's mid 8 figures, that's just sort of the number we picked.
Yeah.
That's $50 million worth of dirt that he could have thrown at the show and the network. So clearly he had very high powered lawyers, I know, that he hired. So, and I think the negotiations have been going on for the last couple of months,
Yeah.
but it's just,
and
it's
I
obvious.
think they waited to see how Caitlyn, it was kind of like Caitlyn and Tayshia, it felt like the reaction to them was very, very positive. So it was like, okay, we can make this official now.
Agreed.
So that's where that is. And I do think he maybe thought he was going to have some big, like, retirement last season kind of, because he was always in talks of perhaps wrapping up in a few seasons anyway. I think it was like, they probably would have made some big fanfare situation out of it. So obviously this is a very different way to go out, but we do have Caitlyn and Tayshia, who I think are going to be great, and then Paradise is going to be a cast of characters, and we'll see if they
Fuck it, let's get Pete Davidson in there.
the sky's the limit.
Is that who you want?
And I just throwing out names. You got David Spade, then pander to the younger
Bachelor
crowd.
in
Get Pete
Paradise,
Davidson
I
in
think,
there.
is going to be a whole group of people. Like, it's not just going to be David Spade. It's apparently like every week could be like a different person.
Okay. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Michelle's season. Like, will Caitlyn and Tayshia come back? Will they make it other Bachelorettes? There's really a lot of good options.
Yeah, I think they'll judge how this goes with Caitlyn and Tayshia, and I would imagine it's going to go well, and then they'll be offered Bachelorette going forward.
They could keep doing it. So it went very well. The limos showed up, but before we get into all those entrances,
You guys can clearly see that we are not wearing scrubs to work. We don't have to wear scrubs to work, but people do. And people love Figs scrubs specifically. My sister always talks about it. She works as a surgical tech. She's always like, oh my God, I love that you work with Figs, because we use Figs. It's the most comfortable scrubs in the world. And that is proven science, because Figs are ridiculously soft and engineered with athletic apparel functionality. They're innovative, they're comfortable, and they're supremely functional, which is super important. That's what you want with your scrubs, I'm assuming. They have tons of pockets so you can hold all your tools, whatever it is that you need. They have you ready to go, full of pockets. You know that is key. Like I said, I do not work in the field, but I know that's key. I've heard it. I've heard it through the grapevine. Figs' proprietary Phionics fabric is ridiculously soft with 4-way stretch, moisture wicking, anti-wrinkle, and Silvador antimicrobial technology that inhibits odor-producing microbes and increases durability, which we love to see. And right now, if you are one of those awesome humans who works in the healthcare world, you can enjoy 15% off your scrubs. And maybe you want to treat somebody else. Maybe a lucky person in your life is in that field and you want to treat them with 15% off. Let them know they can use code CHICKS15 at checkout if you go to wearfigs.com. That's WEARFIGS.com. And you can use code CHICKS15 and you will get 15% off at checkout. Get ready to love your scrubs.
Right off the bat, I think Katie was very impressed with these guys. And we were too. Rhea and I talked about the bios, and it's like, look, every year the pictures of these guys come out, and we're like, I don't know. Like, Tayshia was talking about how handsome these guys are. I don't really like what's going on here. They all step out of the limo, and we're like, woo! These guys are hot.
All of them, yeah. Not all of them, but
Not
most
all of them,
them.
but a majority for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely better than the bios.
Absolutely.
But I think we always see that coming. I mean, everybody always looks better on the episode than they do in their pictures, because it's just one picture. You're not seeing them from all angles. You're not seeing their personality, their aura, their glow, everything about them.
can't read their vibes.
Yeah, you can't get a good
I went into this
read on the
season,
vibe.
Their
I didn't
aura.
look at any bios at all. I went in fresh. I've been doing that the last couple seasons where I don't want to make any preconceived, assumptions about these guys.
Well, we'll just also let you know that the ones who had the wackiest bios were already sent home. So like the most of them.
Okay.
Like the ones that we were like, ooh, what's going on here?
Skin guy.
Yeah, and we also had the
So strange.
Just fake Italian family.
yeah. Gabriel.
That was the hug
Renaissance man.
Renaissance
hug guy,
man.
yeah.
Gabriel's bio. Gabriel was the hug guy.
Yeah.
And his bio, literally the first sentence is like, Gabriel likes to think of himself as a Renaissance man.
Yeah, he refers to himself. That's not a self-proclaimed thing. People call you a Renaissance man.
That's right.
Like, who would you consider a Renaissance man?
Modern day?
Modern day Renaissance man.
And the definition of that is someone who is good at everything? Is
I
that
just
what
feel like a
Renaissance
pioneer.
Well cultured. Oh. What do you think? Like, if we were to Google like what is Renaissance man, what do you think shows up? I'm gonna do it because now I would like to know like if there is a. What is a Renaissance man? A person with many talents or areas of knowledge.
Dave Portnoy, Renaissance man.
Renaissance man.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little suck up to my boss. Right there.
That was. That was.
I don't know who would even fall into that category. Who?
Ted Danson.
I can't think of one Renaissance man.
John Mayer.
John Mayer.
Can I say something fucked up?
John Mayer. That's right.
For some reason, Alex Trebek was. R.I.P. But Alex Trebek was the first thing.
Can I say something fucked up?
Renaissance man.
Sure.
This is so fucked up, but I'm going to have to say it. I don't even know why my brain goes to these places, but sometimes you have like dark, intrusive thoughts that they just come out of nowhere. Yep. Whatever. I was on my way to work today, and I had a thought. I don't know why. I was listening to A$AP Rocky, and I was like, what if A$AP Rocky died today? Like, I was just thinking about people die out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my God, what would I say on the podcast? And I started going through my head, like, what I would say about A$AP Rocky if he died. And I think
call him a Renaissance
I was
man?
like, A$AP Rocky is a true Renaissance man. Not only was he a pioneer in music and rap, but also fashion. That's where he got me.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye,
That's a tough one, but yeah, you're right.
I understand.
No, you're right. You're right.
No, you're right.
You say Kanye, and
100%.
people back up, and it's like,
100%.
all right,
I'm
I
pretty
understand,
sure
but
Kanye has called himself a Renaissance man in songs, but he would be right. I would think Kanye.
No, I
you
think
saying
you're
music
right.
and fashion about A$AP made me think of Kanye.
Yes. Which I almost think
It's
Kanye would be even more a Renaissance
yeah.
man than A$AP Rocky.
Most certainly.
It's the knowledge part that's throwing me off. Like, I'm thinking someone that's really like
I feel like Kanye has
educated.
Maybe we don't agree with some of the education Kanye says.
But I think it's
But
like
I think
you
he
have
has
to,
it.
You have to have a bunch of knowledge in a bunch of different areas, not just
Right,
like
right.
one, which Kanye
Correct.
does.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
Fashion,
Kanye definitely
music.
does.
Yeah.
Rapping,
No,
producing.
absolutely.
Clothing.
I agree. I'm
That's
saying
why
he definitely
art,
falls into
no
it.
offense to Alex
What
Trebek,
was
I
he
just
saying?
feel like he's like
Art.
trivia. Like
Yeah, but trivia is.
I know
knows
that
everything.
I know that
He
it's
knows
that, but
everything.
like I don't know if you would call him a Renaissance.
Everything.
Look up a list of Renaissance men.
No offense to
Speak
him.
Ilya-
Rest in
Il-
peace.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
was
could
gonna
feel it.
say.
I could feel you just like, oh, I'm talking shit about Alex Trebek.
Yep,
This is tough.
that's not.
Type in on your laptop list of Renaissance men or
Okay.
somebody who has. I don't have a device on me right now.
The guy on The Bachelorette.
I mean, everyone who came up is like, it's like Da Vinci, Michelangelo. Like,
Yeah.
Modern day. Type in modern day Renaissance man.
a list of modern Renaissance men.
Oh God,
Ryan Gosling
there was an
came
article written about James Franco in 2010 by NPR. Modern day Renaissance man James Franco.
What about Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen.
Bill Gates.
Steve Jobs came up. Like
I think we're lacking in Renaissance men
Yeah.
in our society.
why does James Franco come up as like number one for everything?
No, because I literally think that
There was a time in
there
life
like
where James
it
Franco
was straight up the headline of an article. Like it was like James Franco, modern day Renaissance man.
I feel like
Oh,
there's
like
one.
Anthony Bourdain would have been like that's the
yeah.
type of.
That's
I feel
closer.
like there's one on the tip of my tongue.
This was a BuzzFeed article from 2011. 10 modern day Renaissance men, and James Franco's at the top of the list.
Brad
also.
Pitt is 10.
Brad Pitt, a Renaissance man?
Yeah, I don't
get-
think
and-
anyone knows what a
But
Renaissance
like,
is.
I think
if we're learning anything,
so
that's
this guy's doing it based off art, like being like, oh, this guy is
you're-
talented but can also like paint.
That's what I said. I whispered to Trump before.
Yeah.
I said art. There's
Yeah.
people involved in art.
Ryan
Renaissance man.
Gosling,
People forget
Pharrell.
Pharrell.
People forget that Pablo Picasso died in 1973.
Hugh Jackman.
That's crazy.
People
real
do
thing.
forget that. Hugh Jackman, Renaissance man?
Bono.
So
No,
basically,
like, no.
Gabriel
This is a
wasn't
list of
even
male celebrities.
that
How is
far off.
Bono a Renaissance
Anybody could
man?
be a Renaissance man.
I guess you're not gonna see Gabriel on any of those lists though.
Well, Bono. I mean, Bono is very
He's a rock
active.
star.
You know,
No, I know.
Elton
but
John.
He's also very like active in
He's charitable.
charities and Red and foundations.
I feel like
Noah is very strict on who he's letting in to be a Renaissance
Noah's
man or
like
not.
thumbs down to Alex Trebek and thumbs down to charity.
Yeah. So, Bono. Sorry, he's had a lot of really
so
amazing
you
charities.
donate to charity and you're a
what
Renaissance
about
man?
what about John
Not
Legend
donating,
because
he's
he has
created them.
Okay, that's great.
I will say that's
but, like,
only
a lot
one
of
avenue.
celebrities have done that.
What
like-
about John Legend because he has all the awards? That
and
kind of
he
covers.
got-
So he's got an EGOT.
He's got an EGOT, so
Yeah.
it's like
But
He's a
also,
place to
but
start.
also that's technically like under the umbrella of like entertainment.
Of the arts, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like how. Let's move on. Noah's
Okay.
bothering me with how picky he's being about this.
so you gotta have standards. I
Yeah,
Too
we
high.
can't just be calling Bono a Renaissance man.
I
think
feel like
you would.
Bono is Bono.
I think you would.
Bono is not a Renaissance man. That's an insult to like real Renaissance men.
Well, who's a real?
no.
Here's
Like-
the
like-
thing.
like- no,
you're gonna
like-
call
like Da
Bono.
Vinci and
You're gonna call
Michelangelo,
no, but
like-
you're gonna call Kanye a Renaissance man, but
Oh,
not Bono.
Yes. Kanye is 100 times more of a Renaissance man than he's creating like fashion. He knows what like he's a crazy person. Like
I also think you're very much living in the time right now. Bono and U2 were extremely popular.
yeah, so is Paul McCartney, but he's not a Renaissance man.
I would argue maybe he is.
No,
Paul McCartney.
I would actually say yes.
no, just 'cause
I gotta
you're,
get
like,
my phone. I'm gonna
just 'cause
send
you're
out a tweet.
popular-
I'm
Who
gonna
is
say
a
Paul
modern day
McCartney.
Renaissance man? Paul
I
McCartney.
think Paul McCartney would fit into that 100%.
No, he's like an icon. But
What about
that doesn't mean he's a
Morgan
Renaissance man.
Freeman?
No, we're just naming famous people.
Yeah,
my
these are
God.
just famous actors and
Yeah.
musicians. I think it's Kanye's probably the closest.
Kanye, I think, is the best answer anyone said
I think that's right.
so far.
And 'cause
Congrats
I said
on
it.
congrats.
'Cause I said it. I'm gonna agree with that because
Why can somebody look up Kanye Renaissance man? We gotta cut some of this out, but on your Google.
On your Google,
Trent, you're looking at your text messages. You're not looking up Kanye
I
Renaissance man.
I am.
yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes up, Renaissance man. Kanye West likens himself to Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Galileo.
Yeah.
Galileo,
Well,
Which
Kanye is a
He's
self-proclaimed
Gabriel.
Renaissance
Yeah,
man.
him and Gabriel both call himself.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
No.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I don't know.
Because he's not really covering like,
He's like,
arts.
I don't know if is it necessarily art driven.
but he
Elon
is
Musk
he
a
is kind of
Renaissance
everywhere.
man? I mean, I guess he's creating new
going to
things.
I
space,
really,
he's going
I
to
mean,
space.
I would
cars.
say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would-
Elon
I would
Musk,
say yes.
Renaissance man.
more than Bono.
For sure.
Oh my God.
He just.
I was literally just reading a BuzzFeed article. It wasn't even like I came up with Bono on my own. Like it
I
was
know,
like
but
a fucking list
but
that
you
I
were
was
so
reading.
like adamant that he was that I was thrown off.
Okay, but you said Google.
I know,
Asked
but
who would be a modern day
I,
Renaissance?
that was me.
Who
no,
said
but
like
you,
would it be?
but
a
you were
list?
like, I think Bono is.
I would put Bono on my list personally.
Out of everyone in the world, it's like, yeah, Bono.
If you were gonna put Bono on a list and you had to check yes or no on Renaissance man, I'm checking yes. But if you sat me down and said name a bunch of Renaissance men, I'm not
Right,
sure Bono would come to my
he
brain
wouldn't
immediately.
he would not have been the first one I thought either if I wasn't reading that article.
Oh my God! Let's end the recap.
Terrible. We didn't even talk. We haven't talked about one thing.
Gabriel.
This is what people come here for, right?
All right. Well, anyway, Katie really liked a lot of these guys. They all came out with pretty standard limo entrances. I think the first few very nice. There wasn't a lot of gimmicks. The gimmicks came towards the end. We had an RV, a guy show up in Andrew S. did like he came up in an old school car and spoke in a British accent.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
No, I didn't like that either. And you had said something last night on Cutting Stems about the British accent or accents in general. If like you had said, if Katie really liked the accent, she's like, oh my gosh, I love British accents.
Yeah.
And he's like, just kidding, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, he just got knocked down a peg. Like you become less attractive. One, you're lying.
Yeah. First of all, you're a liar.
One, you're a liar. Two, like you just became less hot because the accent made you hotter.
Which actually makes me think that if you do have a British accent, you should pretend that you don't have one. And then people are like, oh, it's just a regular guy from Chicago.
Yeah.
And then you're like, nope, I actually
There
have
never been any Brits on this show.
Never?
I can't recall one British person, someone with an actual real life British accent on this show.
I can't either.
In the last 5 years, maybe before that.
I can't either. I'm very surprised
They're
by that, but
missing
you're
out.
right. They are.
How much better would it be with a few British people on here?
That's why we love Love Island.
Yeah. You are right. Love Island starts so soon.
Thank God.
Thank God. Okay. He did the British accent. This guy showed up on a moped. There was Trey who did the pickup truck. He had the ball pit in the back, which was very cute.
I like Trey.
I like Trey a lot. Trey just seems like a very happy, great guy. Same with John. Something about John.
Katie really liked John.
Katie really liked
Turned
John.
around and was like, oh my gosh, I think that's my
Fran
type.
really liked John.
I really
Yeah.
liked John also. He just try not to smile when that guy smiles at you. It's impossible. He's like smiling at the TV. Like just on my TV screen, I was
that kind of
smiling.
smile.
It's lights up a room, that guy smile.
I wish.
Right?
To die for.
Just very, very cute. And then we knew that there was going to be a lot of probably sexual jokes. Katie had said, yeah, the vibrator thing, that maybe they would be talking about that. She's sex positive, as I'm sure is also going to be discussed many times on this show. We had we'll get to all the other things too, but I want to say we had two Michaels. One brought a watch that he faked being like a family heirloom, which was kind of creepy for a second, but then turned into
I thought that was
okay.
good.
So
It
did
worked.
I.
That's good.
Like, it
That's
worked.
a funny
I liked
thing
that
to do.
one.
Like it was worked, and the pun, it was a good pun. Like, oh, our time is it worked.
Yeah.
And then Mike, I guess he goes by Mike. I don't know. It's another Michael. Mike is the baseball player, virgin.
Yep.
Why must we always have a virgin on this show? I do not know. Or a
virgin athlete.
that they're unfortunately, like, their whole storyline becomes about being a virgin, because that's why he was cast on the show. It was like, ooh, sex positive Katie, like, let's make sure we got a virgin on here.
And no offense to virgins.
Yeah.
No offense. I want to put that out there. I just wouldn't
choice.
fuck a virgin.
Yeah, and that's
I
your
wouldn't
choice.
prefer it.
It's their choice to not have sex, and it's your choice to not have sex with them.
Yes.
You guys are
Thank
just staying
you.
away from each other.
Yeah, I would like to stay away, and they want to stay away from me, clearly,
Yeah.
because they don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
But I there's something about it where it's like Katie very clearly,
Yeah.
like, how many times are we going to say the word sex positive, but loves sex. She wants to have sex. Why is she going to want the virgin? Hold his hand through it? No.
They always do the thing too, and you're right about athlete virgins.
Yeah.
That's the ones they have on the show. And there's always the underlying
Jackpot. They're like, ooh,
there's always the
jackpot.
underlying implication, like, this guy could have had a lot of sex.
Yeah, always.
Because he was an
Yes.
athlete.
He's an
But
athlete.
But he
He could've
decided
been
not
in
to.
a lot of
He's in the minor leagues.
That was a big part of Colton's season too, where
Yeah.
they were like, he was a football player, he was a professional football player.
And the girls, they were knocking.
Right,
Like,
they
he
never
was
say it,
saying,
but they're
no,
like,
no.
he could have.
Yeah.
He had the choice.
Yep.
But he decided to be a virgin instead. It's
Same
always
with
that.
But like
Luke.
okay,
The
but
same with
Yeah.
Luke, when it was like, then he was a born again, and it was like the whole thing.
yeah, and Colton turned out to be gay.
That is correct.
Let's just put that out
That
there.
is
Yeah.
correct.
I
just want to say, because we have not
Interested
talked
where
about
Mike
this on
goes.
the show, but Colton, I'm very happy for Colton, and I like his social media. It feels like he is being himself. We were just talking about this before the show, but Tyler C posted this picture on his Instagram where he is hanging. It's
Hanging loose.
Hanging. He's hanging. And he's I don't really know how other way to put that.
Francesca.
I don't know how he is standing next to a horse.
Let's just say it.
He's in
Dick out.
jeans, and you can see everything. Like, his brother was commenting, like, there's two horses in this picture. Like, everybody was making
Tyler
jokes.
C knows
But
what he's
also,
doing with that
like,
picture.
he posted that picture, and even Colton was like, I gotta comment on this bad boy.
Yeah. I'm happy for Tyler C, man.
I know.
Got the looks. Seems like things are going well
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep. Everywhere.
know?
Everywhere. And Colton made a very funny joke. Was like, you and the horse have got something in common. Great hair. So it was a good joke.
You guys
Yeah.
mind if I step out?
Yeah. Need a minute. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, but it is always such a big part of the show to have that storyline,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have it once again. And it seems like he's probably going to have some kind of meltdown, or they're going to have some kind of conversation about it. Because after we had that, then we had blow up doll guy. We had Justin was talking about stroking because he brought the paintbrush. Somebody else had a lamp. He was like, we're rubbing and rubbing.
Oh, we're going to rub one out.
Rubbing. Yeah. Rub one out. Yep. What are you whispering about?
That is not, when somebody whispers in the room, that's not code word
I know,
for
but it's distracting
ask what they're
me.
whispering about.
I'm with Fran. When somebody whispers,
but we're being left out.
Yeah.
I just was whispering something to Noah.
I know.
It's
and
not
I feel
allowed
left
to be
out.
said on the show.
Oh my goodness.
We cannot brush over the sex
My
doll.
edible is hitting.
Okay.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I don't think we should brush over the sex doll because that was really
No. I was gonna circle back to that one.
Yeah.
The blow up doll was a bizarre move. It's just funny though because the women, Katie brought the vibrator, and you kind of try and think like what is the equivalent of something like a man could bring that it is kind of in that realm that like doesn't feel weird. I don't know if there is anything that he could have been like, oh, I brought my
A laptop and it opens up to Pornhub.
like
that might be the most. That might be
or
better.
like he just brought he walked in with like lotion and a box of tissues.
Yeah, and I tweeted about a fleshlight, but that would have been
Fleshlight
weird.
is like weird because
that's
it's
also
literally
weird.
molded off of.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like the
I guess it's
vibrator
very
is
similar to a
very
vibrator.
similar to
Yeah,
a vibrator dildo.
whoa.
No, that was wrong of me. I apologize.
No. You're right.
I sincerely
No.
apologize for making it seem
I was
like
kidding.
fleshlights are
Positive on
weird.
this
No, I
show.
was kidding.
I want to take that back because oh my god, what a hypocrite.
No, I was kidding because I think people are far more aware of vibrators and dildos than they
Yeah.
are of a fleshlight. So I think it's.
I mean, Cody could have really sent Katie for a spin and just been like, I brought my vibrator.
yeah.
That would be or handcuffs.
Yeah.
Why didn't nobody bring handcuffs?
Okay, that'd be good.
Well, he brought Sandy his blow up doll, had a name. He really went into detail about his time with her,
A lot of
which could have
backstory.
been cut down, maybe less backstory about the blow up doll, and really make it seem more like a joke and less I think Katie walked away from that being like, oh, did he really use that?
Yeah.
because he made it seem real
He made it seem very real.
instead
and you're
of
right.
just like a joke.
That could be you go one of two ways. A gimmick like, oh yeah, I get it. Like we're
Yeah.
the sex positive season, and also, or it can go the way of, no, I actually own this sex doll, and
Yeah.
it takes, it sits around in my apartment, and we hang
It's gotten the work.
Yeah, he was like, she's getting worked all the time is really what
Yeah.
it seemed like he was saying.
Do you guys think that a threesome joke would have flown well there if he was made a joke about him, Katie, and the blow up doll?
Yeah,
Yeah.
could have.
Okay, Fran.
Would it have worked? I don't.
Yeah, no, that was the question.
Would it?
Not. I mean, he could have.
Could have.
Yes.
I just hit the microphone. I don't think it would have worked. I think that would have been a little too aggressive for Katie.
I agree.
Because
You do it, and immediately you don't want a guy to be like,
right?
no, I don't want just you. I want a threesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even if Katie would be down for that down the line, that's not
Yeah.
like a hey, we just met.
I would be like, oh,
conversation.
I'm not me. Just I'm not good enough. It's solo.
Yeah. So we also, I'm trying to think of our other big moments. Oh, Connor B came out as a cat,
Yep.
fully dressed in a cat costume, and the whole thing, the mittens, the ears, the
Yeah, the drawn on
paint.
nose.
absolutely everything. Katie loves cats. I did not know that about Katie.
didn't
So
either.
at first it was like, oh God, why is this guy dressed as a cat? But Katie loves cats.
And
So it makes sense, and it worked.
Katie cat.
Katie cat.
and it worked. Yeah, like you said, it worked. She was
Oh God, maybe he's gonna start calling her that his little Katie cat.
little Katie cat.
Oh, you gotta stop doing that.
He was pawing at the door. I can't stop talking about that. He was
like
pawing
licking
at the door, so funny, playing with the ribbon on
Yeah.
the bow on top of
Yeah.
the box with Box Guy. I think that shit's so
Yeah.
funny.
Lapping up milk is the best part about pretending to be a cat. I feel like when you're just like,
I think it's the paws.
The paw thing
Yeah.
is hilarious.
we're making a lot of licking noises into the microphone
I
now.
hate that.
Yes, but it did work. Certainly worked for Katie. But then I would say everybody else, very standard. Hey, can't wait to talk to you. Excited to meet you. Excited to be here. See you inside, which was very nice. And then it ended with the box guy. Unfortunately, James will just be the box guy now, and all night long it was like, do you think, here's a question.
Okay.
Do you think they just made it seem like James came out really, really late in the night, or they let him come out a little bit earlier and just made it seem like he came out later? Because like,
that's a good question.
Was he really in that box the whole time?
Right, they can cut it however they want, right?
Yeah.
Like he could get out of the
Like,
box.
was he even ever in the box to begin with? And
Well-
they just wheeled in an empty box and they just had James like voice record his voice?
I hope
I think in this driveway he was in it. But
I hope he
I'm
was
talking
in the
about-
box.
I hope
Yeah.
he was in the box.
Yeah.
Just like I wasn't
It's
a huge
mean
fan.
and it's ruthless and it shouldn't be done, but I hope he was in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Holes in there. How's that guy breathing?
I hope he spent a couple hours in the box.
Maybe they have a fan in there.
Yeah,
It was a
give-
big box.
They have a lot
Get
of
some
things.
snacks. Get a
Yeah.
couple bottles of water.
It was
Right.
very mysterious.
Stay refreshed.
And at the end of the day, it did work. James popped out of that thing and was very handsome.
Yeah,
Katie really liked him. He had a very nice suit on, which I think played a part in that as well. Like it was different. It was funky.
I do think they guaranteed him a rose. To be
Yeah,
in
you
the
made that
box.
point on cutting stems, and would you like to make it again?
Well, it's just that I'm sure they presented it to him being like, hey, so part of
Yeah.
this is going to be, do you want to be in this box the whole
Right.
time? It's going to be a running theme / joke of the whole first episode. And he was probably like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit in a fucking
Right,
box.
because
for
you know
4
that
hours.
wasn't his own idea.
No.
No
He's probably
chance.
like, I don't want to do that. That seems bad. And then they probably countered with, what if we guarantee you a rose on the first night?
Yeah.
You make it through the first week. You'll get to spend more time with Katie. And I'm thinking he said yes.
Yeah.
And that's how
That
it
makes
worked.
sense.
Yeah, because
I
it
like
takes
that.
off a lot of pressure too. If they're like, hey, you got to sit in the box the whole night, but you will make it to the second week, then you're like, oh, okay, all the nerves of the first night and having to actually walk up to Katie and say something goes away.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, I take that deal 100 times out of 100.
Absolutely.
You know how nervous I get. I
Yeah.
would love that.
I agree with you. To have a guaranteed rose and also to have that reaction from Katie where she was like, oh, he's box guy, handsome.
Yeah.
Did not realize that. And even though it says he's from California, that must be where he's currently living because that guy's got a strong New York accent.
He's from New York.
100% from New York. His eyebrow, like he looked very well groomed. Like he just looks like he had that heavy, very heavy, I don't know if it was Brooklyn or something, but it was definitely New York.
Do you connect nice eyebrows or like well-kept eyebrows with New Yorkers?
Like I just think he was very well groomed. Like
Okay.
he's like putting on a suit. He's well groomed. He's going to work. He's not like waking up and I don't know surfing.
Yeah, no,
know,
he-
the beach.
I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, like
He
opposite.
does not
of-
have surf guy
yes,
vibes.
Yes,
It's their
like
New
he
York
didn't have
vibes.
like a California vibe to me. He had
No.
a very New York vibe.
I agree.
And Katie's night went pretty much according to plan. Everybody seemed to be getting along. They were getting their time. Katie was having a lot of great moments. You know, she's sitting in the ball pit with Trey. She's making out with these different guys. They're having these great first moments. Justin, I think, did really well. He's the one that can paint. He's very tall, handsome,
Yeah.
and can also. I think if that painting that they showed, he actually painted. He's a pretty fucking good painter.
Renaissance man?
Oh.
No.
Let's not do this.
Okay,
Maybe.
we don't have to do that. We don't have to do it
Maybe.
again.
Let's not do it again.
Before I do
Tall,
want
handsome, athlete, and can paint.
Renaissance man.
I'll leave it up to Noah.
Good with the
he's-
brush.
I do want
He
to
has
say
more qualities of a Renaissance man than Bono does.
Maybe Bono can paint. We don't know.
God
we don't know.
damn.
He certainly
We have
can
no
paint.
idea.
Yeah.
How well we
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I do want to mention before we get too far past it that when Katie was giving her initial speech to the
Oh,
guys,
yes.
just too much ice in that glass.
Yeah.
Either too much ice or not enough ice. Either if there's not enough ice, there's a room for the ice to.
Maybe she was trying to like not. Was it alcohol?
I don't know.
I'd assume so.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just assuming. Maybe night one she was trying to water down her drinks.
Maybe, but it just made so much noise that I couldn't pay attention to one word that she said. It was just ice noise the whole time. I felt bad for her, but it was just too much ice
Yeah.
noise.
Too much.
You think she was just nervous?
Too much ice.
A little shaky.
I actually thought about that too, and then I started to feel bad about it because she probably
had
was
to have
nervous.
been nervous.
Really
because
nervous.
she also like her whole spiel and her speech was like, I'm kind of going off the cuff here, like not really planning. I want everybody to like be super authentic and themselves and get enough time with me and everything. So it did seem like it was she was speaking directly from the heart. It wasn't coming from like something she had pre-planned. And anytime you do that, it's more nerve-wracking.
Yeah. So maybe her hand was just a little shaky and that shook up the ice.
Yeah.
But it was just very loud.
Definitely. But like I said, everybody was kind of doing pretty well. There was a bunch of makeouts. We thought like things were going very well with Connor B. We had like a scene from Cats, live action Cats on our screen. Katie's wearing the mittens or one. She either had the mittens or the headband or something, and they're making out. And Katie got all of his face paint on her face. It was like something that you would really think wasn't cute, but Katie found cute.
She really liked it.
She really liked it.
That's either going to be a complete dud, that cat outfit, or it's going to be a home run. And it was a home run. Yeah,
it ended up working out very well. There was also a big moment between Aaron and Cody, if you recall these people.
You might not.
You might not. Because it was a very, very brief moment. Before we get into that.
So I would say about 2 episodes ago, I had this thought in my head. I talked about it on here. I said, do my parents fuck? Yes, they do. My mom ran wild with it. My mom absolutely still puts out. I know that. I know that. Listen, my mom, she still puts out, which is a good thing.
Good for them.
But
keeping their marriage alive.
They're keeping their marriage alive. Over 30 years, my mom's still putting out. My dad's still going. Good for them. Yeah. I'm not going to act weird about it.
Yep.
Anyways, we said, Father's Day is coming up, and I'm sure my mom would like my dad. It's weird to think about, but it's the nature of life. I'm sure my mom would like my dad to be well-groomed. And you know what? Guess fucking what?
I couldn't believe it.
After I talked about it on the episode, I went home and I said, Mom, Dad, I have to tell you something. I may have talked about your guys' sexual intercourse life on my podcast and also on a Barstool Sports main account for an ad.
Yeah.
For Manscaped. And my mom said, she gosh darn knocked me off my feet. She said, I actually bought your father Manscaped for Father's Day last year.
No way.
Yes, she did. Floored me. Floored me, but I'm not surprised. You guys knew. You guys, when I talked about it.
I talked about it, she was like, my mom's got to get this for my dad. And
my mom
lo and behold,
and
Ro was one step ahead of her.
Ro is one wild cat, okay?
That's amazing.
She got my dad the Manscaped for Father's Day, and I think that everybody should get on that level. Maybe you're thinking about getting something for your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it may be, or maybe you're a guy listening and you're like, oh, fuck, Rhea's mom got this for her dad. We need it. The Lawnmower 4.0 is here, and it's ready to be used, everybody. It also has which is important if you want to travel with it. Say you're going somewhere, right? And you think you might be getting down and you want to travel with your Manscaped tool, the Lawnmower 4.0, it has a travel lock in it, so you don't have to worry when you're traveling with it. And also, we talk about this. We're not saying you got to be totally clean shaven down there. We're not saying that, but we like you to be nice. We like you to be neat. We don't want messy balls. Nobody wants that. So go to manscaped.com, use code CHICKS, and you will get 20% off your order. Check out the Lawnmower 4.0. I love you, Mom and Dad.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. We had maybe one of the most bizarre interactions we've seen on a night one that had no context, didn't make any sense. I rewatched it again Tuesday morning and was like, what happened here? The camera cut to these guys outside, and Aaron just looks at Cody and is like, I don't know what to say to you. I just really don't like you, bro. I just don't like you. And Cody was like, all right, did I do something? Did I do something? He's like, no, I just don't like you. And Aaron stormed away and went inside, and the other guys were like, oh my God, did something happen? And Aaron was like, I just can't with that guy. And then it was over. It was it. That was it. It was so weird.
It was so weird. And the show is great at giving context when a first night fight happens, which always happens. Of course, love a build up and love a first night beef. Then it's like, oh, now I'm really invested in this season.
Yep.
But they just gave no build up, and the show is great at build up. They'd show Aaron talking shit to another guy, Cody talking shit to another guy. Then they finally meet out on the balcony, and it's like, oh man, are they gonna punch each other? What's gonna happen here? Instead, they cut out all that stuff on the side and just showed us Aaron and Cody yelling at each other, which, I'm sort of invested in their beef because I want to know what it's about. But it was a very odd moment, easily the oddest moment of the night.
Yeah. Didn't make any sense.
I really hope it doesn't even go further. Like, I don't care for these two to get into a fake altercation just because one of them just doesn't like the other one's vibe. I don't fuck with your vibe, bro. Like, is that really it? Because then we could just move on. You guys don't like each other. Let's move past it.
But they did sort of continue it because Aaron or Cody, again, it's so early on that I don't know these guys' names yet. But one of them, they got the last rose of the night.
Yeah,
so he was like stressing. Cody, okay. So he was stressing about it. And then he did end up getting a rose, so I guess that beef is going to continue.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It has to. That interaction can't just be nothing. Like that, the two of them have to have something happen in the future for them to include that piece of information in night one.
No doubt.
You know, like the editors went back and were like, ooh, let's make sure we put in that little I don't like you because we're going to see it blow up week 3 or week 4 or something, because otherwise it makes no sense.
I wonder what they think watching that back. Like the producers like, boy, that really does stick out as something that happened, but we give no context to it.
Yep, pretty much.
Very odd.
Pretty much. And then we went into our first rose ceremony of the evening. It went, like I said, well, Caitlyn and Tayshia came out. They hit their lines. They did their moment. They nailed it. They were in and out perfect. Katie's giving out all of her roses, and we're looking at these guys, and you're just like, some of these guys, who are these people?
It's always that way on the first night where I'm looking at that group of guys, and they just I don't know who they are.
And it's also so daunting because when you actually see them all line up, it's like, holy shit, there's so many of them.
30 guys up there.
So many.
Like, I'm sure she makes that like decisions that she doesn't even understand, where she's just like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. There's
got to be some decisions that are just purely based off looks. Obviously, you're like, ooh, that could be.
Yeah,
definitely.
That could be a guy. Like we didn't really see Kyle.
That's how
at all.
I'd cross him off if I didn't know. I was like, I didn't talk to that guy enough, but that one's hotter than that one. Keep him.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
You don't have all that much time with these people,
right? Whoever
they probably give her
more attracted to
a sheet with all the guys' pictures and their names, and says, "Here, mark off the people you're going to keep."
Yep.
Did we talk about Greg getting the first impression rose?
Not yet.
Okay.
We didn't talk about that.
I was going to say we were going to get there, but we didn't even talk about it.
We didn't even talk about it.
Greg got the first impression.
People are in love with Greg.
I'm definitely meant to bring that up after the fight and went straight to the rose ceremony.
It's all right.
Greg got the first impression rose, and Greg is already a massive fan favorite.
Yeah.
I think especially with the Bachelorette, the first impression rose is always so talked about because so many first impression rose winners have gone on to win the show. And Greg immediately caught everybody's eye. I think everybody likes him. They really liked the pasta necklace gift from his niece that he brought.
Greg was the one who Katie said looked like one of her ex-boyfriends.
Yes.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she likes him as well. We didn't know if that was going to go.
I didn't know if that was going to be good or bad, but it was good. You know, sometimes you can't shake what you like.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, his apparently he went from 7,000 to 13,000. His follower, and then he's at 40,000. Now he's at 70,000. Whatever it is, they just kept climbing. I think people definitely like him.
I took a peek at his Instagram because I was like, this dude just turned 28. Yep. He's from New Jersey. He lives in New York. Like, how have I not like crossed paths with him at some point? And I definitely have.
Yeah.
There's one. I looked at his Instagram. He's got him and all of his boys at their summer house in Manasquan.
Greg, come on the show.
I'm like, I definitely was at like the Osprey or the Parker House with you many a times in the summer. 100%. He follows the Parker House on Instagram, so I was like, okay, this guy.
You've been in the same room with him.
We've definitely crossed paths at some points, and people are gonna love him because I feel like he has like I'm gonna say this, I don't know how I want to word this. He's I want to compare him to Zach C in the Jersey kind of thing, but like he's obviously he's younger and is very different, but I kind of feel like he is gonna get the support from the public that Zach C got at the beginning of Tayshia's season with him.
I think you're right about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I like Greg, and he's clearly going to go very far in this season. I wanted the first impression rose to go to Cat Guy.
I really thought it was going to go to him also.
Me too. Connor B. I thought
I thought that was just weird enough that she was going to like applaud him for taking a risk and having it pay off.
Yeah, because they also, and you never know how things actually happen, but the way they cut it up in the show is they had just had their conversation.
Right.
And they had just had their kiss, and she was she took the rose, walked out there, and I thought he was for sure getting it. But, her and Greg clearly have a great connection, and I wasn't necessarily surprised that Greg got it, but I was surprised that Connor B didn't get it.
Yeah, definitely. Greg's going to go far, I think. And then everybody who went home, just kind of like guys who didn't get a chance, who we didn't really see. Gabriel, Brandon, who we talked about in the bios, which is the only reason why I can remember who they are. And then let's see.
Who was the RV
Jeff
guy?
went home.
Jeff.
Yes, Jeff went home. And we did get a good DM that was like and this is what we said during the bios, because we were like, what exactly is the skin can be used for? And we had said, like maybe burn victims. Mm-hmm. We did get that confirmation that is very much used in those scenarios, artificial skin.
What was the listing of, like, what was it? What's the title? What's his job title?
Surgical skin salesman.
Salesman is what throws me.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, that's, I mean.
Who signs up to do that?
They tried to make it sound as weird as possible when
Yes.
reality, like, what he does, like, is probably saving people's lives.
Definitely.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's
I'm
just-
just
yeah.
wondering who signs up to do that.
I know.
And they did make a point, I'm sure, the show to be like, we're going to use the word skin, and we're going to use the word salesman, and people are going to be like, what is happening?
Surgical skin salesman. Like, they just went all for it. And then they put him in an RV. They gave him the fucking RV.
Yeah.
They had Katie, Katie had to go into the RV.
The
You
Walter
could tell
White
Katie was
meth
also
RV.
really not into that. I tweeted, like, don't go into the RV, Katie. Don't do it. And Katie liked that tweet. So I feel like she was also very against the RV.
Any RV van type thing is never a good idea because you are told as a kid, do not go into the van.
Stranger danger.
Do not talk to the people in the van.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of an RV, though. Like
Like
as
an RV
adult.
trip? Yeah. I would love to go on one.
Me too.
So I think at the end of the day, we lost Brandon, Jeff, Gabriel, Austin was sent home too, I believe. Oh, Marty. Marty was definitely sent home.
Marty brings the party?
Marty brings the party.
We didn't even get to see him party.
I know.
Who's
Maybe
Marty?
on Paradise.
He was barely in it.
Yeah, Marty, his bio,
But we
he had a
just
good
liked
bio.
his bio. He's
Okay.
a dancer.
Definitely not
from
a guy you
Vegas.
settle down with. He was probably a Chippendale.
Yeah, like we
And-
thought like we were going to get some lap dances out of him, some good entertainment.
And his motto is Marty brings the party.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Marty
his
brings
motto.
the party.
That's a good motto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun
So
guy.
unfortunately, Marty did not bring the party and was sent home night one.
You think any of
classic.
these guys that go home, anybody make an impression enough to go on a future Bachelor show?
None.
No.
It's pretty rare that happens.
I know none of these guys even really had I feel like none of the guys that went home even had a video package. I also feel like always give one guy who goes home a video package where people can like get to know him, and then they're like, oh no, that guy got sent home.
Like Grocery Store Joe.
Grocery Store Joe.
I was-
He
That's what I'm
had
saying.
so he's still having a great run.
Yeah.
People are still talking about Grocery Store Joe.
Yeah.
He literally got sent home.
That never happens. He's like the exception to the rule.
Yeah, well, I mean, throw Bachelor in Paradise in there. He got engaged. You know, he had the whole.
No, but I
even
mean,
before that.
Oh,
I mean
before,
his
yes,
original,
yes,
like
yes,
how
yes,
he,
yes.
got into the
All
public
he
eye.
needed was one night.
Yeah.
And but he had a video package, and like he was played up a little bit more.
True.
These guys we did not see enough of at all. I really don't think we'll be seeing any of them moving forward. But while I don't really know if we're familiar with the cast well enough at this point to give out some predictions or who our favorites are. But Rhea's just looking at me like, no.
Well, there's clearly a top
Don't
two,
ask
right?
me, don't ask me.
There's
Connor B and Greg for
Connor B and
sure.
Greg. Those are the top two, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If I had to go to a third, like, who would be the third?
These were the guys I liked, not necessarily who I think are going to go the farthest. Trey, John, Justin. I liked David.
Do you know?
And you could probably don't even know
I
any
remember
of the
having,
people I'm
because
talking.
I wrote down names on my laptop that I don't have in here right now that I thought were going to go far.
Yeah.
And I remember writing down Justin.
Yeah.
That was one that I remember.
Justin was the painter.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think we got to see more. I got to see more from Kyle. I don't know if Kyle's going to get into the mix
I need
or
at
not.
least one more week
to
put in a prediction.
Fair.
Yeah, we'll
That's
see what
fair.
happens at the end of next week, and then maybe we'll throw our
Top 5.
predictions out there for
Okay.
who we think, because we got to set the stage a little bit. But those are the ones everybody's feeling. I think by far everybody's putting Greg and Connor B in their top at this point.
Have to.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think that wraps up our first Bachelorette recap. We will be back next week for week 2, and stay tuned. We have an awesome interview with Katie herself coming up right after this. Before our interview with Katie, just a reminder, summer is here. If you're looking to make yourself a cocktail, I gotta say, look, we're with the Bachelor crew, Cutting Stems, Bachelorette. We're doing our thing. You may want a little Owens mixers in there, but guess what? You need an alcohol to put in there when you make your drink. New Amsterdam vodka. You gotta get it. You gotta head to your local liquor store right now. They have their new summer co-branded Nav bottle. It's got the Barstool logo, the flags. It's beautiful.
The whole 9.
It looks like the 4th of July in a vodka bottle. It really does. It's like very red, white, and blue. Looks amazing. It's the same extra smooth 80 proof vodka with the custom Barstool labels. It's really, really cool. It's made from some of the finest quality grains from America's heartland. New Amsterdam vodka is 5 times distilled for unparalleled smoothness and filtered 3 times for a clean, crisp finish. When we do Cutting Stems and we make our cocktails, we always use the Nav vodka we have here. It is delicious, makes a spectacular cocktail, and like I said, the bottle is super, super cool. So go check that out. Head to your local liquor store and buy New Amsterdam vodka, the official vodka of Barstool Sports.
All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest, and as you all know, it's a big Bachelorette episode, and we have the Bachelorette herself. Katie Thurston is here with us today. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Thank you so much, ladies.
We are so excited. A brand new season. We're jumping right back into it. How are you feeling? What's going on? I feel like you kind of had a very quick turnaround.
See, I feel the complete opposite. It's like I've been waiting this whole month for this to air, and it's finally here.
Oh, man. And we're excited too. But like and I want to go back because I think before you were announced as the Bachelorette, there was rumors for weeks like it's going to be Katie. It's not going to be Katie. It is going to be Katie. It's not going to be Katie. What were you thinking during those times? And did you have any idea that this is actually where you were going to be?
No, the first time I heard that rumor, I texted people from the show. I was like, I'm sorry, did I miss the memo? So it was kind of like a whirlwind for me. And then it wasn't really official until it was announced that it was Michelle and I, and that's when it like officially hit.
And people thought that you were sending signals out on social media. I remember you put up an Instagram story. I think you might have been throwing a rose out the window and there was a song playing. Did that have anything to do with it, or was that just a coincidence?
Look, I'm a big internet troll when it comes to this season, so I'm sorry in advance if that's going to bug you, but I have fun with it.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody loved you after Matt's season. Did you expect that kind of edit to happen? Because I think from what we saw from you, and I think it's what a lot of guys are saying about you from your season now, is that you really like to stand up for yourself. You don't take any shit.
No BS.
You're yourself. And we saw that in Matt's season. Did you expect that outcome waiting to watch it back, or was it kind of a surprise to you?
I was actually kind of surprised. I mean, what you guys saw was my perspective of my experience, but there were so many other women as well. You never know whose stories you're going to see or what moments you're going to see. And so, of course, I was nervous going into it and never expected the kind of support that I was getting as it was airing.
Yeah.
And were you shocked when Matt sent you home?
Honestly, yeah. Like, I'd never gone through this before, so I didn't know how it worked. So in the moment, I'm like, oh, we're right on track. We're going to hometown, so this is great. And then watching it back, I'm like, no, I didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. And watching, and the conversation around a lot of Matt's season was about the girls and how you guys were all getting along and not getting along and the fights and whatnot. What has been so great afterwards on social media is seeing how close all of you guys are from Matt's season. Like, if you watch Matt's season, you would think, oh my God, these girls, like, I don't know, like, are they ever going to talk to each other ever again? But we see you guys hanging out with each other all the time. How has that been? Because it feels like you guys have created almost like a sisterhood after Matt's season.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because people are so focused on the drama, they forget to see the outcome.
Yeah.
You know, all those women went through something that was very hard. And once you stop dating the same guy, it's amazing what that can do for your friendship.
That is so true.
Do you guys still talk about the season and what happened, or are you guys past it? And who would you say you are closest with now from that season?
I mean, I think with that season, we're all just ready to move forward, especially, you know, heading into Bachelorette season now. Jasenia, I talk to every day. And then Alana, who is an earlier person who went home. Those are the two I probably talk to daily.
That's awesome. We love that, you know, we love seeing you guys. And we're in New York, so we see all the New York ladies who are always running around together. They look like they have such a good time. But coming off of Matt's season, what kind of lessons did you learn from, you know, being a contestant to now you're the lead, you're in the driver's seat? Like, what did you know going into your season, like, you wanted to change?
I think the biggest thing I wanted to do is make sure all the men felt really included in my season and that they actually had a chance. You know, it kind of felt like Matt was closed off to some of the women, and I know how that impacted them, and that was not what I wanted my guys to experience. So you'll see that we kind of created this really big bond with the guys, and it's like this bromance is happening, and it's just very refreshing.
Love it.
Did you feel like you almost had a little eye-opening experience being in the driver's seat, maybe understanding a bit more what Matt was going through, because you are trying to balance having a relationship with so many guys?
Yeah, actually, in fact, the moment I got home, I text Rachel and said, tell Matt my heart goes out to him, because being the lead is extremely difficult, and it's not something that anyone can really understand unless you've been through it.
Yeah. And how did you feel when it was announced that it was going to be you and Michelle together? Because I think there was some confusion. You're a fan of the show, you know, like, for us, we're like, oh my God, is this like a Caitlin Bristow situation where we're getting two bachelorettes again? And like, I thought we were past that, but you guys are getting your own individual seasons, which is so awesome. And if you did speak to Michelle, what did you guys speak about?
Oh yeah, I mean, she basically said, Katie, fix the problems and I'll see you this summer. Happy, you know, our seasons I think are going to be very different. We are very different people, and she's so deserving. I'm very happy for her as well.
Yeah, definitely. How we were talking about, we're so excited for, like I said, Caitlin and Tayshia to be a part of your season. How is it getting along with those ladies and kind of getting their guidance?
The first moment I realized that they were going to be there for me was a surprise. And I'm like overwhelmed with emotion. I think I almost cried because I was just so relieved. And they're really there like from start to finish. Like, they're not just there for like a rose ceremony. They are there as like sisters, helping me with really good advice that's helping me get through the whole entire journey. And without them, I really couldn't have done it, like without a doubt.
Yeah, we are really excited to see, because we love both Tayshia and Caitlin. Mm-hmm. We think they're great, and I think that it's awesome that as a woman bachelorette, you're going to have two women that can help you out, that have been through it. They know what you're going through, and I feel like that's just comforting at the same time. Now, we saw some rumors, reports about the guys not being comfortable with like all the female energy going on. Would you say that was true, or did you not pick that up during the season?
I don't know what guy wrote that, but 30 women to 30 men. I don't know what kind of girl energy is overwhelming for you, but I thought it was perfect.
That's what we took from it. I was like, I really don't know how these 30 guys feel like there's not enough guys in the room to be comfortable. Like, that's crazy to me. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some first night situations. The first night, like, you're sitting there, the limo pulls up. How are you feeling? And like, did you think that anybody really bombed their limo entrance?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the RV without a doubt was a big fail.
Yeah.
It was just creepy. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, you know, but then you have Connor who comes in a cat suit and I'm like all for it. So maybe I'm just like hard to read. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes, well, this is the thing, and we say the same thing when we talk about the episodes. Sometimes the quirky, kind of cheesy things, you're like, oh, that was kind of sweet and nice, but there's no rhyme or reason why, like, that's nice, and then, like, something similar but different, you're like, hated that. That was
right.
Weird.
I also feel like it depends on the person, and I feel like everybody... was your entrance brought up a lot? Because I feel like your entrance was a lot of people talked about that, and I feel like going into it, people are making a lot of jokes about what you did.
Yeah, the guys definitely try to like one up me with their entrances. So that's been fun to go through and relive a little bit because, you know, we're all sex positive here and we're going to have fun with it. And it's a good way to break the ice on the first night.
Yeah, and there has also been a lot of talk, which I hate every time that they do this, when the trailer comes out and it's like a lot of making out. That's what happens on this show. And it's like, oh, Katie, she's kissing everyone. How have you kind of reacted to that? Because it's like, well, yeah, every single season they kiss everyone.
Yeah, I mean, what I've been saying is like, you can't support me potentially being engaged in 2 months, but not support me kissing on the first night.
Right.
So like time is short, and I will say I made out with every guy that I could.
I feel like that's what you got to do, right? I mean, you have to test the car before you buy it. I feel like, right?
Yeah, and the kiss tells you a lot about your chemistry and your connection. Like if he's a bad kisser, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that is so true. It's a very early on way to be like, oh, because you could create this great emotional connection with someone, but then you wait so long to kiss, and it's like, we have a great emotional connection, you're going to be my friend, but the sexual stuff isn't there, so that's that. So I think it was great. We're going to see a lot. The trailer looks great. How did you guys like filming? You guys were in Albuquerque?
Yeah.
How was that?
I mean, it was great. I've only been in bubble seasons, as they're called, so I don't know anything different. So being in New Mexico, it offered the perfect environment, you know, from start to finish.
Oh, I forgot about that. So were you guys weren't allowed to like travel to different states during this, right?
Nope, just New Mexico.
So the same situation as the other season.
Yes, exactly.
And how was that? Did you feel like it was a little different because maybe they're a little bit more adjusted to the new way of filming things?
You know, for me, I liked it because you get this, you know, intimate connection where you're just focused on like the dates and the person and not like the travel and the excitement of that. You know, like, yeah, travel's fun, but like we're just focused here to like fall in love, you know?
Right. And I guess in real life, you're not like traveling every second with your partner. So I guess it makes it a bit more realistic while also not at the same time. But we all know that.
Yeah, definitely. The Bachelor and Bachelorette always kind of joke about night one, maybe if they needed help with names or didn't need help with names. Did you have everybody's name down or did you need like a couple hints?
No, I actually was able to get it pretty quickly because like my job in banking is to get to know your customers and their names and faces. So for me, I picked it up right away.
What about the double names? How do you deal with that? Because every season, double names, it's too confusing.
We have Andrews, Connors, and Michaels on my season. And that I will say was a little hard in the beginning.
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, we go through all the bios and we talk about what everybody's bio has. And it's once you hit like the third double name, it's like, oh boy, we always joke because we're like, you can bank on one of these guys going home night one because you can't have all these doubles.
Imagine you got to the finals and it was like both Connors. Yeah, that just doesn't seem possible. One Connor knows that he's not going to make it. They have that in the back of their head. They know one of us has to go.
Wow, you know, I actually would really love for that to happen at some point.
Well, maybe it will, and she can't tell us.
Yeah.
She could just tease it.
Katie, in the teaser, we also see a little special guest, Blake Moynes. We don't really know how he shows up or what happens, but how did you feel about that?
I was shocked. I was not expecting that at all. You know, I knew probably people would show up later just because we are in this bubble. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw him, I didn't know what was happening. And also people kind of forget that's Tayshia's ex. Yeah. And Tayshia's there with me, you know, so it's very interesting.
Oh, I actually totally forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even put two and two
I didn't even think about that one time.
No, I kind of wrote that off because I feel like we wrote Blake off during the season. And then when we talked to him after, we were like, oh, Blake's great.
Yeah. But we were always rooting for Blake, and Blake is also very sex positive.
We were not always rooting for Blake afterwards.
Afterwards. I'm saying now we are, but like I said, kind of the sex positive thing. It's Blake. He's an open fella, so we're excited to see what happens with him.
I will say, coming off my season with Matt, people were really shipping him and I before, so I was a little familiar with like who he was and kind of his background.
I feel like maybe a little Instagram stalk. You got to see what he's all about. And then bam, there he is showing up right in that moment. And then you said like Caitlin and Tayshia were such a big part and so helpful for you. It wasn't like they just popped up during the rose ceremonies. What was some of the best advice that they gave you?
Yeah, the two pieces was, you know, don't don't just like pick one person from the first night, be very open, get to explore these relationships because that's what it's about. And then the other piece of advice was letting go of control, because in that environment, you cannot control anything, and that was a really hard part for me.
Yeah. And now you're done. We're all wrapped up, and you're doing your interviews and whatnot. How has it been kind of post filming, dealing with kind of going back to regular life, or are you not going back to regular life?
I mean, I am back at my normal life for the most part. It still kind of feels like a dream. Like I think this is the beginning of where it gets a little chaotic. So I'm kind of holding my breath right now.
Yeah. How has social media been for you?
I mean, I've always been a social media person, so I'm always like very active and engaging with people. It's just different now having so many people watching every single thing that you're doing and overthinking and overanalyzing everything now.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. And we saw the trailer for this season, and I feel like every season we see the lead at some point maybe have a little freak out. They want to get out of there. I think we saw that a little bit from you. Can you tease a reason why maybe that you were freaking out?
I mean, it has a lot to do with not having control. You want to have control. You want to plan and predict everything that you think is going to happen. And when it doesn't go your way, you freak out a little bit.
Yeah, that's very understandable. And you're in one spot. You've got all these guys coming in. Were any of the guys like? Did you think night one this is gonna work, or were you skeptical?
Oh, night one, I was very optimistic.
Okay.
I had great guys. They all had amazing potential. So I was like, let's go. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then what about the week after that?
No, I really did get to know each and every guy, like moving forward and get closer with all of them. And, I will say up until the very end, I was pretty confident. But then the way things happened, I could never have predicted. And I'll just leave it at that for now.
We can't wait to see what happens. That's a great way to wrap it up. And our last question will just be, because we know you can't tell us, but are you in a happy place now?
Yeah. Overall, I'm very happy. Everything happens for a reason.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Katie, so much for popping on with us for a little bit. We're so excited to tune in to this season.
Thanks, ladies.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. The Bachelorette is officially back. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and tune into our Bachelorette after show, Cutting Stems, every Monday night. We go live at about 10:05 on YouTube. Also, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure you subscribe there. We love you guys and have a great week.